Welcome to a new series entitled Pull the Curtain Stories from the Show. Each video in this series will give a background to each of the Chicago concerts I have been to, starting from the oldest to the most recent. In every video, I'll go down bullet points and discuss each until I reach the conclusion of the video. Let's begin with episode 1. This is 2011, and my sister had just moved to Houston, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. So going to Houston from Central Texas was sort of a new thing and an exciting thing. So looking at the date at looking at the date on the ticket, which you'll see multiple pictures throughout the video. But looking at the date on the ticket, it is on a Tuesday, and I'm in the middle of working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I'm like, okay. I asked my boss if I could leave a little bit early. The show starts at 7, and I needed to leave Central Texas to get to Houston by 4:30 or 5. So maybe I took a half day. I mean, if I'm doing the math properly, it's like 2:30. It's like 2.5 hours to get to Houston from Central Texas, then another hour and a half from, which was outrageous thinking about it now. But what I did was, instead of waiting for them to be in Houston proper, they were, for some reason, an hour and a half outside of Houston in this little town called Winnie. And it's a long drive. It's 4 hours. I mean, I don't usually drive 4 hours or an hour and a half outside of Houston to to go watch a band. But that's what I ended up doing, and it was a long drive for me. But the getting there was sort of half the fun, because this is in either January or February, and the weather is not so good. It's crappy. It's overcast. It's cool. Thankfully, in the past couple of years, there's no snow, there's no ice, there's nothing. It's just cold, overcast, maybe a little bit drizzly, but it's still, for South Texas, you can still definitely feel it. Southeast Texas. And the location, bullet point number 2, location, is, like I said, it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere, Winnie, Texas. You have to exit I-10 to get off of a fork in the road, which leads you into the city. And the location is down a highway off of I-10, and the um, the venue is pretty much a barn, very large tin barn, that it's, I don't know, maybe the size of like a football field. It's like that big, going from front to back. In the front of the venue, there's of course the stage, and then next to the stage there's a VIP area where there's tables with just chairs set up there. And I think you could have paid for dinner, but I didn't pay for dinner because I already ate dinner. But there were tables, and then there was a sort of like a barricade, rope, and then there were chairs, and then there were standing room only in the back. But it's way out there. You go into a gravel parking lot. You park your car, and then you go into a couple of double glass doors, and you go into a barn. It's pretty much a barn, 2-story barn. I'll probably post some pictures of that too in this video. To continue on, the the city and meeting their people, I guess the fans of Chicago, I guess Probably some people drove from Houston, like I did, to Winnie. Some people drove from, within Winnie, and then probably some people drove in from Beaumont, because Winnie, if you look at I-10, it's right in between. It's right in the middle of Houston and Beaumont. So I'm pretty sure you have East Texas people going to the concert. And East Texas, folks, people, they are somewhat rednecks, and they were wearing like cowboy hats and boots and stuff like that, and maybe like vests and jeans. It's Chicago. It's not a country western band, but you know, they were, to put it lightly, they were redneckish, but they were very polite and cool to deal with. But then again, once I got to my table and the concert started, there were some people there. I guess some women, 30-ish, 40-ish maybe, that got a little too drunk and talked through the whole concert, which made it unbearable. I've never snapped at anyone at a concert, and I probably never will, but I came really close to doing it that night because, I was doing some recording just for the channel, and, trying to get a little piece of the band, because that was the first concert that I went to, so it was, especially special for me to try to record some memories. My memory isn't that good, so right now as I speak, I'm speaking just freely. I'm doing very low editing here, but it's just a matter of trying to get it all from my memory bank, which isn't that good. But that was one story there about the fans. The band, the next bullet point, the band. As you see in some of the pictures, as you see in the picture, which was like an advertisement for the venue. It showed the band as it was back in 2010, 2011. I was thankful, lucky enough to hear Walt Parazater, who was the original founding member, and he played the saxophone and the flute during Color My World, and he played the saxophone, and he was the woodwinds. And seeing him before he left the band was a great honor, being a Chicago the band fan. And a lot of the members in the band are from that picture are no longer there. Uh, I'm, I don't have the picture in front of me right now, but let's see. So Walt Parazater is gone. Jason Sheff is gone. Tristan Bowden is gone. Um, who else? I think even the other keyboard player, I forgot his name, the other keyboard player is gone as well. You look at, 11 years from then to my first concert till now, which I haven't seen them this year yet. The band has changed 2 to 3 times with different members of the band, playing the instruments. So it's crazy. And the last bullet point, the last thing I want to talk about is memorabilia. Throughout this video, you saw some pictures that I took that I've saved from every concert. I saved some kind of memorabilia, either the ticket stub or specifically every concert that I've been to. I've bought a T-shirt, and these T-shirts are expensive. They're like 30, $35 each. When it shouldn't be that much, but that's besides the point. It serves for good memories and good memorabilia for when I went to the concert. And this one here, the T-shirt that I got was, the front says World Tour 2010 2011, and it has a crown on top, which I thought was pretty cool. being in Texas, the major color for Texas is burnt orange, because Central Texas, University of Texas at Austin, the Longhorns is burnt orange. There was a burnt orange shirt. Looking back now, that was for sale. I didn't buy it. I bought this shirt here, or the shirt shown before in the video, and I like it. But on the back, if I was to turn it over, and you would see the back of the shirt, it'd be blank. Um, Upcoming shirts, upcoming videos, you'll see shirts with tour dates, towns, and dates on the back of the shirt. This one here is just blank, and that was, my first Chicago shirt. And the venue had, like I said, that sort of like a newspaper with all the bands coming up in 2011, which I kept, which was pretty cool. And of course, I kept the ticket stub, the blue ticket stub, for um, for my very first Chicago concert I went to in 2011, which was in the middle of nowhere, an hour and a half out of Houston. And I forgot to mention that this will be the last thing I talk about. But after the concert, I leave the venue, Nutty Jerry's, and get back onto I-10, and then drive another hour and a half back into town. I didn't get back to Houston to my sister and my brother-in-law and my family's place there until I think about 11:30 maybe. And then I had to wake up, I don't know, like 4:30 or 4:30 or 5 to get back on the road, to drive another 2.5 hours to get back to Austin, or Central Texas, Austin, to get back to work. So it was a crazy one overnight trip. Leave work, get there, before the concert started, and then have like maybe 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep, and then get up and then drive back to work. And this was just a crazy overnight trip, but it was very memorable. First Chicago concert, and very first pull the curtain stories from the show. Thank you for listening.